The views and opinions expressed on this show do not reflect that of the staff and management of WNOV and W293 CX 106.5 FM Courier Communications Milwaukee, but are the sole comments of the host and guest of this particular show.
The views and opinions expressed in this program do not reflect those of Wisconsin Voices. The views and opinions expressed by host and guests are their own, and their appearance on the show does not imply any endorsement or representation by Wisconsin Voices. Thank you for listening to Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices.
Be a voice.
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 Visit WisconsinVoices.org.
Visit WisconsinVoices.org.
Visit WisconsinVoices.org
and learn more on how to be a voice with Wisconsin Voices. We want to engage our whole community, and we know with the DNC as well as we extended our hands to the RNC as well. Have partners all over the state, and that's where we were looking to tap into.
Cool. So we definitely want to make sure we are acknowledging any of our partners. If you got anything going on this weekend or anything coming up this week, please let us know. Again, we want to make sure that we are highlighting. And speaking of highlighting partners, before we get into that, Latoya, you got any updates or anything you want to, before we get into our first guest, do you have any updates, anything that you want to speak about going on this week?
No, not right now. Hopefully, we have our partners coming on talking about the events that they're going to be doing later on this week. But as of right now, no, it's nothing.
All right, cool. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. So our first guest we have today is representing an organization called Exfabula, and I'll let them break it down and tell about their organization and who they are. So I'm glad to get you in the studios. You have to have some representation. Go ahead and tell them who you are, who you representing.
So I am. Thank you. So my name's Jordan. I am with Exfabula as their marketing and communications associate. One of the events that we have coming up this week is After Dark for the Culture. That is going to be on Thursday, the 13th. So there's a couple things going on that day.
Okay.
So we have a workshop that's going to start from like 5:15 to 6:15.
Okay.
So basically it is a storytelling and like public speaking workshop.
Yeah. So real quick, before you go into details with that, tell us a little bit more about Exfabula.
Yes, so about Exfabula, we are a storytelling organization here in Milwaukee. So we host events all over the city. And we have been around since like 2009. The mission for the organization is just to like uplift marginalized voices in Milwaukee and actually like tell, real stories throughout Milwaukee.
Nice. So how's the what type of demographic have you been seeing when it comes to the storytelling? What group do you see, age group or whatever else that you may want to spot out? What have you seen, or who are the people that usually come and tell their stories?
So like for demographics, we usually cater to adults for like most of our story slams, but we do have like special programming for teenagers, and then we also have like programming for people who are deaf and hard of hearing. So we just kind of have like different special program tracks for like different groups of people. The After Dark series is for Black and Brown participants. And then let's see, I'm trying to think what else. And then we also have just like more general slams that are just open to the public.
Yeah, break down that After Dark with the Black and Brown, because of course a lot of our listeners and some of our viewers, of course, are from the Black and Brown community. What does that After Dark series look like? And if people are interested, what would they be expecting in that?
Yeah, so After Dark for the culture exclusively lets Black and Brown storytellers on stage.
Mhm.
But we also do have like Spanish interpretation available at the event
Nice.
for people who are monolingual.
Mhm.
Um, let's see. And then like usually we have like a couple of like special guests that like we highlight for the night as special storytellers. All usually like Black and Brown creatives from throughout the city.
Mhm.
So the one coming up this Thursday, there's gonna be Mikey Cody Apollo who will
Okay.
be there. Jasmine Sims will be there. And then we have like a few others.
Okay. Nice. 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 So the goal, your ultimate goal within the dark series is to what?
Uh,
What would for your organization? What would you say the goal for your organization? Or what would you guys like to accomplish?
Yeah. So I think like one of the biggest things that we want to accomplish is just really uplifting Black
Mhm.
and Brown voices.
Mhm.
The event is hosted in collaboration with Hyphen Radio.
Okay. Nice.
So we really want to like keep our focus on making it kind of like a brave space
Okay.
and like a safe space
Mhm.
for, Black and Brown people in the Milwaukee community.
Yeah. When you connect with people through storytelling and communicating with vulnerability that you have to show within those stories. Because even myself, I went to one, I want to say 2015, maybe yeah, it had to be 15, 16. I went to, and everybody there was open, and it was not judgmental, and this was when X Factor was, I don't know if this was their primary location at the time, but it was over there. I want to say it was off. Was that off of National? I felt like we was on National somewhere, but it was a front, like a glass front little building, and we sat down and we just really just told stories about something that we felt was important to us, and I gave a pretty deep story just about some things I experienced in my life, but it was it was cool, and after that everybody just after you see a couple people go, then you start seeing everybody start participating and sharing a story that was impactful in their life, or something that they encountered somewhere. So I do what you do is unique, and what you guys have going on over there is something that you don't see too often when it comes to people being able to have a platform
Yeah.
outside of family members, outside of dealing with work, or even sometimes at work people don't even have a platform to speak, and you guys are giving that opportunity to people, which is, I think, is pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I think like for Exfabula, I think it's like one of our most important programs.
Mhm.
I think like our spaces really kind of like encourage sort of like a radical kind of like vulnerability and sort of like openness. And I think like the coaching that we do for folks helps them like tell their stories like a little bit better.
Mhm.
And it's just kind of like building up like your own personal narrative is like incredibly important. So
Yeah, I would agree. Speaking of somebody who always got some great things to sharing, and stories of things that she's went through, Latoya, what do you think about X Fabulous? What you got? Any
I
questions?
think that is a beautiful platform because that's a lot of things with being organizer in the union. Our communications person was always teaching or having some of our volunteers or our people that our constituents we're working with. They would be training them on how to tell their story, how to write it down and say it out loud, and so I think that's a beautiful way of how you guys are doing it, and it's giving them a comfortable space that they can actually be comfortable in telling your story, because often telling your story is not so easy as to what people think. When a person start hearing themselves talk out loud and hearing their situation, sometimes it makes them feel like I could have did something different if I would have did, but being in that situation, you're in shock. So you really don't have time to like sit there and think it out, like maybe I should do this way. Maybe I should scream this way. I could scream out that window instead of that window. But so one thing I want to ask you is, how did you get involved with Exfabio?
yeah, so the way that I got involved with Exfabula was actually like pretty straightforward. you know, like I was kind of like interested in like the work that they were doing. I had been doing like communications for like a little while, for about like 3 years. And one of the things that's always like a major focus is like narrative and like storytelling. So I kind of felt like Ex Fabula was like a good kind of like perfect fit for me. And I mean, like I've only been with Ex Fabula for like 2 months, but you know, I really do like and like appreciate the organization.
Okay. Great. And you can see how passionate you are about it for to have just been there 2 months, because that working, like you said, working in communications, you know, the narrative and telling your story is very important. And actually telling your story and getting others to understand is ways that we didn't had our a lot passed in our constitution is actually telling our healthcare stories to our Supreme Court justices, telling our healthcare stories to our Congress and representatives, to where it actually moves them, not just healthcare, but stories and all, where it actually helps move their needle on making laws that actually will help solve things in our communities. So telling stories is very, very important, and the way you tell them as well.
Yeah, like before I was really at Ex Fabula, I did do communications for like political campaigns. So it's just kind of like being able to kind of like construct a story that like makes sense for like a political campaign. And also like again being able to kind of like figure out people's biases to, you know, like believe something else has to be true. So I think like being able to kind of like orient yourself in that way is like very powerful for political campaigns.
Yes, it is. It is.
Like your website says, just the taking that workshops, story slams, community collaborations where people listen to each other, feel heard, and grow in empathy and understanding. And that's what I was taking from what Toya was saying. You know, when you got to be telling those stories of real life experiences to people to actually sway them into understanding what's going on in your community or organization. So yeah, I appreciate it. What's the way that individuals can get in contact with Ex Fabula, yourself, or anybody just to figure out what's going on with storytelling? I know we got some great storytellers in Milwaukee, fiction and real life and nonfiction. And you know, everybody tells a good story in Milwaukee, boy. Man, I was over there, man, and the cops came through the building, and I thought I was gonna lose my life. And a pit bull ran through the house, and he had a bag of money in his hand. You like, what? Okay, yeah, right. You know,
I was just
right. That person you ain't seen in a long time. Yeah, for anybody who got all those stories, those superhero stories we didn't heard, and you might want to share some, you know, fiction. Can people do fiction stories too?
No, we focus on
real life,
real life stories.
Sorry guys, if you're not keeping it real, you cannot come to Ex Fabula. You got to keep the buck. So we don't want to hear about your rap stories we use in the hotel at the lobby down there with all the rappers in LA. These got to be real life stories. I guess I'm sorry. So how can people get in contact with y'all?
Yeah. So y'all can get in people can get in contact with Ex Fabula through our website, exfabula.org. And then we are also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Nice. So those are all places where folks can reach out to Ex Fabula.
Ooh.
All right. And when they do reach out, is it because I remember when we did kind of dig into learning about the organization, is it like different processes, road steps that you go through when you start your story, then you come to different sessions?
Yeah, so like usually if you reach out to Ex Fabula directly, you'll likely get in contact with our executive director, Megan. And usually we're also like promoting our events all the time and always looking for folks to like sign up to like tell their stories.
Okay.
So like, again, if you just like visit our website, or check out like our social media page, you should be able to see ways to like get involved.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Well, on behalf of LaToya, myself, and the rest of Wisconsin Voices staff, we do want to thank y'all. I'm looking forward to just figuring out, when we can do a strong storytelling collaboration between Wisconsin Voice and the X-Factor. We have some people that have been through some, us two alone. We talk about stories, me and her, and we just sit and talk about things we've been through, and we tap into each other and understand each other, where each other coming from. And that's how you get to understand your, not only just your supervisor, but your teammate as well. So we love to just figure out something, and me and Latoya sit down with the rest of the team when we get some time and see what we could do and work something out. But thank you again for coming. We appreciate that a lot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Catch Wisconsin Voices via Voice Radio every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. as we focus on community partnerships, voter education, and long-term collective impact for all Wisconsinites.
You're listening to Wisconsin Voices via Voice Radio. Follow us at BAWI Voice and learn more at wisconsinvoices.org. Wisconsin Voices 3 pillars: protecting democracy, teaching advocacy, building community.
Jump everywhere, and you're trying to get the gist of the story, but they get to remembering one other part, and they get to explaining that part, then they go back into the story, then they remember something else and get to explaining. You ain't never talked to nobody like that, Brian.
Of course, right? That was my life. When you come in from some other work and facilitating and doing some of the work, you got to hear all the stories from the the failed work experiences or individuals not keeping to what they said they were going to have as far as employment. So that was my big thing when I was working in the workforce services side, helping people out, and them having to articulate why or why not, they couldn't handle the job they working at or why they lost that opportunity. So yeah, it was all over the place. And some of it was lies. And then some of it was just, some of it was just, people just don't really know how to articulate their, whatever it is, their skills, or couldn't articulate, experience that they had through a job or something. And then if it was a little tricky where it was like something that was a little more confrontational, then you got to find a way to, transition into that conversation. And my workforce services people that's listening right now, they can tell me if I'm right or wrong. You got to find a way to soften the load when you're talking about if you've had an interesting reason to be terminated at a job. So yeah, conversations and stories be all over the place sometimes. You got to help them bring it back together.
Yeah, because so that was a major part of the work we did with the union and organizing.
Yeah.
And like
storytelling. Yeah,
storytelling was one of the biggest parts that we had to get people that didn't even think it was a story to tell. So I'll use like home care, for example. We would go into home care workers' house that would have special needs family members. And I'm going to take it from an example of a special need child. And you had these parents that had their dreams. They went to college. They did, say they went to college and they wanted to be a computer technician. And they get married and they have a disabled child. And now they got to change their whole life. They're no longer, their career is not their career anymore. Their career is to make sure somebody's home there with this disabled child that needs their attention 24/7, 7 days a week. And when you go into their home and you're explaining to them, and then the way it's getting better, but I don't even say it's getting that much better on paying them or helping them provide for their families and their households when they have to give up their careers and stay at home.
Right.
The government pay is like next to none, and they treat people so belittled to where were you with them so it takes you 25 minutes to give them a bath or comb their hair, and you like, are you serious? So when we actually would go into people's homes and talk to them and bring that out of them, they would be amazed, like, I never even looked at it like that. And then when we get them in our office and want them to get trained by our communications director, you met her before, Janice.
Yeah.
When we get them in the office and want them to Janice is teaching them how to tell their story. The impact of telling the story taught me a lot. a whole lot
Mhm.
because you had those people, like you said, they telling their story and they go, oh yeah, and we was walking down the gangway and then I seen this dog. And you know, I had a brown dog like that. His name was Bo. And Bo was a cute dog. Woo woo. And then get back on the story and you like, oh my God. Okay. He just went off into this world and then he came back to the story. Then he went back off into another world. So learning how to tell a story and actually getting the components together and going through it and not making your story seem like it's rehearsed. Just making it
It's genuine. It's a
natural,
natural,
genuine. Yeah.
It's a real story. It's a real story. It's not like you trying to, con somebody into, whatever your belief or whatever you're trying to push. So,
Yeah. So that was good. And that was the one, that was one of the things that was very impactful and about organizing to me is learning how to help people tell their story and get it out there where it's meaningful to help move the needle along on getting change in the directions that you want to see change come.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think their organization is great. I can't explain how much I think that is very helpful. And if we can in any way connect them with our partners and a lot of the work that people are doing in the community and having Exfabulo teach a lot of these partners on how to help build their organization through telling stories. Yep. I get tongue tied sometimes, but I know what I mean.
It's all good, right? I know where you're going.
That would be really good. But let's hear some from our community. The number is 414-444-5250. Again, the number is 414-444-5250.
I got some community may want to speak on. I think it's pretty cool. So it seemed like during the summer months, eligible children in some states will be receiving extra SNAP benefits. Well, the parents of the of the children will be receiving extra SNAP benefits to spend over the summer months. So it looks like it's 5 states: California, New Jersey, North Dakota, Washington, and the Badger State. Wisconsin have confirmed that they will be making SunBucks payments. So they call it SunBucks payments, known as the summer EBT. Will give children who qualify additional $120 while schools are not in session to help them pay for groceries. So this will be going on. So within all, there are more than 30 states that are taking part of this, as well as Washington, D.C., and some of the tribal nations and some of the overseas U.S. territories. This is reported by Newsweek, and even Puerto Rico, Guam. So this is going all the way to the U.S. territories. American Samoa, Guam, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands are all taking part of this.
So let me ask you, is it 120 for the whole summer? Or is it 120 per kid or per month? Or
so what I see, it looked like I guess it'd be an extra $120 on top of that. We could probably figure out, and I could probably get back with you, and we can find out tomorrow for tomorrow's show, just to kind of drop that in. But but what I'm saying is that families with children win or with either following apply or eligible for the SunBucks. So if they are school age or household already participating in benefits like SNAP, FDPIR, or TANF. So any of the individuals, you have the workforce services at Maximus on the 4th floor. So anybody that's participating in that program already, they are already being able to see that. If your child attends a school that offers the national, this is a great question. You say, wait, I found this right on time. You get the pressure on me when you ask that question. So is it $120 this way, that way? Right.
Because parents gonna ask. Parents gonna ask.
Your child attends a school that offers a national school lunch or school breakfast program, and your household income meets the requirements for free or reduced price school meals. So those are the two. And the full list of states that are taking part are pretty much, they got the whole 30 piece right here. You got pretty much every state that it's a lot of this the blue states are participating. I got even a couple of the red states in there, or acting red states are participating, because you know how some of those states don't like to see any extra support go out, even they need it. I mean, we all across this country are feeling the tight grip with the inflation and the ever changing day-to-day
Everything
changing
going
of
up in your
oil barrels prices. That, everything counts with oil, crude oil. We
Mhm.
need that to grease your hair, all the way to greasing your your tire screws or bolts, all the way to, you know, everything, gas and everything in between. So
Right.
plastic.
Everything's going up but your paycheck. For real. Everything's going up but your
So
paycheck.
look, we get to talking about that part. Not all U.S. states are taking part of the part for a variety of reasons. Some decided not to participate as they have their own programs for young people who need additional financial help, and while others said they disagree with Biden's administration continuing programs first implemented during the coronavirus pandemic. So some states originally declined to take part before reversing the decision.
Wow.
Nebraska's Governor Jim Pillen backtracked on the state declining the opportunity earlier this year, saying that after speaking with children from low-income families, we have to do better in Nebraska. So, and so it seems like this is
That is what's crazy. It's
what's
like,
that?
how can you not understand that during the year the kids are in school? We just convinced y'all to get them an actual real breakfast
Right.
a couple of years ago after seeing us do it on our own. Thanks to no, I ain't even gonna say their name. But how could you not understand that during the summer months these parents are trying to figure out how to feed these kids 3 times a day? And I know that reply and that statement, well, what you had kids for? You gotta take care of them. We totally understand that, but especially when a person is already on the program and needs the help, let's actually give them the full help, because that's a lot of kids. That's what they started the summer programs, lunch programs for.
Yeah.
Because the kids weren't it wasn't getting a healthy nutrients.
Nutrients is important for that growth and that mental growth, that health, that keeping that brain sharp and giving kids actually something that ain't filled with high fructose corn syrup, which we know is damaging. Even just speaking about, different products, one of y'all favorite barbecue sauces, we got to stop consuming that. And I don't know, we ain't gonna say the full name, but just know it's Sweet Baby something. It's just too much high fructose corn syrup, and our body's been addicted to that. So if you've been taking that in for a long time, and some of those meals are those meals that you see that you get from some of these locations, if it's high in that.
Say this, Brian. Latoya and Brian views are not the views of Wisconsin Voices or WNOV.
Right. Yeah, I'm just saying, right. We just need to give the kids nutritional meals, and making sure that they're getting, I used to be in a sports program at in the summertime down at Marquette, and it was quick. It was like a month or two. That's where I met Dante at, actually. I was in the sports program,
Summer camp.
Yeah, summer camp. Yeah. He was on my summer camp bus. I met a bunch of people in Milwaukee that way, and they would give us those snacks. They would give us little snacks in the morning, and then they would give us a little lunch in the afternoon. And it was, it was different. It had all the whatever we needed on there. It had the fruits, the vegetables, and stuff. So they need to bring back them summer programs, some sports programs where students could go to back. You could have the kids where the kids are gone from like 9 o'clock to like 2-3 o'clock, and they need to be sponsored by these organizations that got all this extra bag to give away to get these programs going. You a mega financial company in Milwaukee, you're a major construction company in Milwaukee, you're a basketball organization in Milwaukee or Wisconsin, you're a football organization or baseball organization. We need more sports programs to be sponsored by the heavy hitters in the city that can, that have the opportunities to, write these checks. Because I'm telling you, the way that you shape the mind and give discipline through those sports programs is important as well. Being able to get up, go do something, have something to look forward to in the summertime. A lot of kids never had that experience to go to a sports program. And I know people who was in them all back to back to back. And I was blessed to go to a couple football camps back when I was younger. And whose football camp that I go to? It might be a little controversial, but it was one of the old football players back in the day. I want to say I went to like Mark Shimura's football camp back in the day. nah, I ain't got no fear. Right. It was, you gotta watch which football player you said was, sports camp you went to. I think it was Mark Shimura or somebody's back in the day. It could have been one of the was it Gilbert Brown? Somebody had a football camp. But yeah, all that shows.
Yeah, it was Gilbert Brown.
Somebody had Wendy's. It might have been whoever it was. We had Wendy's for the lunch snack. Was that Gilbert Brown? Yeah, it might have been Gilbert's. And I don't know. I think I went to a Mark Shimura one too, if I'm not mistaken. Before the case.
No, you right.
Gilbert
had Burke King. Mm-hmm.
But all those was important. Like this showed discipline. If y'all know about any sports programs or got any comments about, what you think about the sports programs seen here in Milwaukee, and if there's,
and should they bring them back,
or should we bring them back? Do we need more youth programs? What you think, Nate? I definitely think we need more youth programs. Come on to the mic real quick, my brother. Come on, make a comment. What you got to say for the youth? Speaking to the young guys. How old are you again, Nate?
I'm 20. I just turned 20 this year. So.
Okay. This is a good time to talk to you and Harvey about that. As far as the sports programs that are going to the all-day sports programs, what did that look like for you growing up?
For the all-day sports programs, it was real fun, like real social event. Yeah. For the camps was real fun. Everybody loved the sports aspect of it. Obviously, I didn't do the events deep into Milwaukee, but for the ones I did, it was lighthearted. And I would say the way they connected to us the most was just letting us, socialize amongst each other.
Yeah, building them social skills was important as well.
Yeah,
cutting down that anxiety that we see amongst people who like to sometimes create. You become an introvert. Things that happen in life where you may go that route. But I believe that proper social skills or being able to communicate effectively amongst our Milwaukee youth is important. The way that, some talk or, they communicate with you when you inside certain restaurants, establishments, it doesn't matter, stores, it's the eye contact, giving a person eye contact and actually speaking with confidence.
The proxemics, was it the proxemics and stuff like that? It's little stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's what I wanted to ask you. What did you feel that you got out of the sports programs when you were, that you can see today? Because it takes you to look back when you say, because when you first was going to them, if you wasn't that interested in sports and like being out there, you'd be like, oh my God, why did they got me in this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would say it just motivated you to find what it is that you want to do. You know what I mean? Because so many, especially black kids pursue sports, and sports is lovely. But like, for the kids that are in the minority who are like, yeah, I like football, but this isn't what I naturally want to do. It kind of pushes you to do that. It's like having a crappy job, pushes you to go find something you want to actually do.
So. Okay. That's the one thing that I know about the camps we went to. It built character. It taught us how to rely on one another, even when you don't know somebody, but you're out here in the wilderness. So I gotta rely on who knows the most information or who knows how to protect us and get us back to the campsite. Okay. And you bring back a lot of memories. Yep. And how to support one another.
But yeah, biggest thing I would say for the adults to cater to the youth, to bridge that gap. I feel like there's a gap that's widening right now. And it's, I would just attribute it to just miscommunication, really. I think the adults need to step up, see what the kids actually are responding positively to, and not just, the social media and the food and whatnot. What is actually going to bridge the gap? Obviously, I don't got the answers. But that's kind of what I think needs to happen. I think there's a disconnect.
But that's cool, not having the answers, but still willing to be engaged and be at the table and talk about it. Because that's what the thing is. It's not necessarily that we need to have the answers, but we need to sit at the table and be a part of the solution and not being taught around where everybody else is at the table and talking about what they need to do for us, and then coming telling us what we need to do or how we need to do it. We need to be at the table so that we can actually tell you what was effective for us. Right. So that's true.
And I guess before I walk away, glad y'all let me speak. Or I can speak for however long. But I think the older generation, meaning me, people that are 20 years old to 24 years old, those are the guys that are really going to be able to communicate to the young guys, because like you see in a lot of settings, there's no OGs anymore, really. So it's like these people are going off the people that are 4 or 5 years older than them. So I think it's then our responsibility, mid to late Gen Z, to talk to these young kids. They're not trying to hear a 30-year-old and whatnot. No offense to my millennials, man. Love y'all, but it's definitely gonna have to be people like me talking to the youth. They're the only one that they feel they can empathize with. People that are 8, 9. They think we're cool, you know what I mean? Because we're not too much older than them. So I think that's where the disconnect is drawn most.
Thank you for that assessment, Nate, and that is very true. Appreciate you
coming on. Thank you, guys.
We need to have those conversations and really need to bring y'all to the table, because that is true. I always say in organizing, I see all these old ladies that could not walk down that block, could not go up and down them stairs, but be the first one at the meeting and saying they want to be the head or the lead organizer, the lead on the team. You're like, you can't even walk no more. You could probably teach us and be in the room with us and teach us what we need to know so we can go on and do it. And then a lot of them will get mad. But we're gonna go to a break though. But a lot of them will get mad.
I'm talking about the look. You gonna get in trouble.
They be getting mad at us like, y'all moving too fast. I can't move like y'all young girls don't want. But I've been out here years doing this work. That's when you pass the torch. You pass it. Like me, I pass it. I'm like, here, let me teach y'all what we knew, and so y'all can innovate it with what y'all know and make it better and keep it going, keep it growing. I ain't got time to be trying to hold on and my dang knee back and everything else hurting. I'm still okay. I'm going to the doctor. No, I ain't.
Please join Wisconsin Voices every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. We will be focusing on community partnerships, voter education, and long-term collective impact for all Wisconsinites.
You're listening to Wisconsin Voices Be a Voice Radio. Follow us at BAWI Voice and learn more at wisconsinvoices.org.
The 3 pillars of Wisconsin Voices are protecting democracy, teaching advocacy, and building community. Learn more about Wisconsin Voices and our partners at wisconsinvoices.org. Stay up to date on our community events page and get involved by visiting our donation page.
So we would love to hear from the community about the sports programs or even just basic programs, the camp programs to bring back in the community, because I used to run a baseball camp for girls and I had a fun camp with Garton Homes up there off Tatonia and Ruby. I used to be the baseball coach, and it really inspired a lot of young ladies to do the stuff that they wanted to do in life, and it wasn't around baseball. It was around life skills. So we would like to hear from the community. Tell us your thoughts on bringing back some of these youth programs in the community. And that number is 414-444-5250. Brian.
Yo.
Back to we got into this whole conversation because you got to talking about the stamps.
Oh yeah, bullshit. Yeah. Right. The extra,
any more good news?
Extra $120. No, I ain't see nothing else too much about that, but I like we were saying, I think it's just the, as you go through and you kind of like you go through and see the different articles about it, there is a bunch of articles talking about it all across the internet. You got California talking about how they expanded it, Ohio talking about how the program to feed more kids. This is obviously the Carolina, which I'm sure this North Carolina governor, Mr. Roy Cooper, celebrated the start of the state's new summer nutrition program for students. And they're all saying the same thing. And this is something, as you can see, this was a serious, I guess, I don't know if it was like a bill or something that had to be passed, or however this money was sent over from, I know SNAP, it goes out from SNAP and then becomes federal, it's broken down into, state. And that's how the little process goes with that, just from learning it when I was working for the program myself. But yeah, this was serious for each of these states, that obviously every state has, struggling, parents and, when it comes to groceries and kids. But I'm all for it. If we can help our people, whatever way we can,
Yeah, make sure kids have a healthy meal this summer. To me, I'm for it.
Yeah, it says 14 Republican-led states
Mm.
claiming to support families refuse to fund these programs that will help kids and families across the state. So you got 14. That's 14 states out the gate right there that said they ain't doing it.
That they're not doing it.
That they're not doing
Wow.
it. Yeah, that's 14 states that made it clear. So I haven't seen the list of which states there are, but you can probably kind of guess.
I want to know what is their reasoning behind not
Texas is
supporting
one.
it.
And, they feel like nobody should be depending on the system or already there should be no benefits. You got certain states like Texas and maybe even like I know Tennessee was on there as one that was receiving them, but you got certain states, they make it real hard to receive any benefits or any support to get ahead or take any programs. Luckily here in the state, you got these youth programs, you got these programs that can give out trainings, and sadly some have lost their funding or have had some pretty damaging accusations within funds being misused, etc. But the ones that are doing what they're supposed to, we do always want to make sure that we give you the recognition you deserve, because we understand it's hard finding, funding to get people trained. People need work. People need jobs. People need to be able to get to the next level. We got a lot of people here that just need to be tapped into a passion or something that they're interested in. I've seen it. We got somebody that work in our office that I worked with personally, helped him get his resume done and all that stuff. And I see what he's doing back out. I'm running to people all the time back that work in the community, individuals that took a trade. Now they got their own, carpentry businesses, CDLs, business organizations, and, and making, changes in their family and within society. So it's important that we have these training programs for our people, and we find ways to keep that money flowing and removing individuals in the community who are going to misappropriate or misuse funds. And that's just, how it is. I know, some people don't know how to separate money for training and money for, misuse. Don't ever touch the money that ain't yours that coming through an organization. Ever. I don't care if you work in a job now, or if you're gonna be working and you working in funding, put that money back. We need more people out here that can be held accountable in the right way for getting the proper training and getting these people the proper services that they need. So
really, that's the main thing they use as an excuse on those 15 red states that said they're not supporting this. That be their main reason on why they don't, is they use, those funds are going to be misappropriated. They're not going to be divvied out right, and it's not going to be given to the kids. It's going to be given to people in their organizations and helping everybody else, but not helping feed the kids that most need it. So I agree with you that they making sure we hold ourselves to a higher standard and hold ourselves accountable on not ever dipping into funds that is given to you to help build lower impoverished communities.
Yeah. Outside of that, we did have we had a few events going on across the city this past weekend. We had one within the state Democratic Convention down at the Potawatomi. You also had looked like you had a pretty decent turnout within the Pride Fest here in Milwaukee as well. Seeing a lot of good results from people going to that. Seeing a lot of people look like they had a lot of fun. I know Maya was there. I think she was supposed to be there this year. And then, if I'm not mistaken,
Pride Fest?
Yeah, she was. I think so. And then I think, was T-Pain having his Wisconsin Fest? Was that already this past weekend too? Yeah.
Oh man, I know I seen right up the street Waka Flocka.
Oh yeah. Waka Flocka was in
Was at
town.
the liquor store up the street
Yeah.
selling his. Yeah.
Yeah, he's selling that drink.
23rd right there, selling his
I seen it.
new drink line.
Drake got that.
So I did get pictures of Waka Flocka.
I seen our local one of our local rappers that's been making the scene. Steve the Stoner popped up in there and did his song while Waka Flocka was taking some pictures. If you ever seen Steve the Stoner stop and do his free concerts, he will pull up at your location and do a free concert. It don't matter if you at the East Capitol Walmart or if you at the Lowe's or Home Depot, you pull up and do a concert. But it was a lot of things going on. What was one more event that happened here that I wanted to speak about? But it looks like the Locust Street Festival.
Locust Street Festival.
Man, I want to just give another shout out as well to. I missed it. I got there late. I just really didn't feel like moving around too much, but I did say they had a good turnout when it comes to food vendors. All the top food vendors was there yesterday. I seen them packing up. I hate that I didn't get those.
You must have came at like 7:38.
You know I did.
Yeah.
It took me a minute to get up and get situated to leave the house after getting up early yesterday. I was kind of like in relaxed mode.
That's why I didn't go. I ain't even gonna catch you because when everybody invited me to meet them down there, I was like, man, I just came back from 7-something this morning to 10, having breakfast with people in the community. So I am fatigued. Let me just rest a little bit. Then after I rest, Brian, I was like, man, I am not getting up. I don't care about no extra food. I didn't have all kinds of food this weekend and all. I'm just in chill mode. Yeah. But I did get to talk to everybody that was there and calling me like, it's so many trying to convince me to come. There's so many food vendors here because y'all know I love food. So
I seen my boy yesterday. He had one of my boys, Dre, me and Shakur seen him when we were getting out the car yesterday, and he had some egg rolls that he's like, man, I'm good. I'm about to go watch the second half of this game, eat these egg rolls. I'm good. He was celebrating his birthday weekend, so yeah, I was trying to find those egg rolls.
The cheese steak.
Yeah, I don't know. I told you I know where to get you some egg rolls at. We gonna make sure. I know you've been craving a little egg roll, so
yeah,
maybe I'll tell you. The spot. You was like, where the hideaway at? They got the egg rolls.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the egg rolls.
Okay.
Least, yeah.
Well, we want to say the one thing I want to say as we celebrate this month's Pride, let's keep working to ensure that everyone grows up knowing they belong. That kindness and inclusiveness are our Wisconsin values. And that no matter what you are or who you love, you always have a home in Wisconsin. So I want us to remember that, to celebrate those with Pride Fest, because we all have someone in our family that we love that's in the LGBTQ plus community. And we all should respectfully know that this is a proud month for them. Mm-hmm. And we want to celebrate. We want to make sure we highlight that they are celebrating. They had a beautiful weekend. A lot of people went down to Pride Fest and told me how they enjoyed themselves. The whole atmosphere was fun, bubbly, and they had a good time. So
no doubt.
I am glad to have said that, and I promised that my nephew, I said, I'm going to give a shout out. I promise. So we wanted to do that.
Outside of that, outside of Pride Fest too as well, make sure we shout out all our musicians, DJs, singers, rappers, everybody in the community, producers. I played the drums for a long time. Music calls me. I want to learn this piano, but the reason why I'm doing that is because it's Black Music Month as well. So on top of Pride Fest month, Pride Month, you also have Black Music Month. So play your favorite songs, blam them through your speakers, whatever you feel is appropriate. We want to represent and know that the Black American culture, when it comes to music, we change the world with our culture.
and opinions expressed on this show do not reflect that of the staff and management of WNOV and W293 CX 106.5 FM Courier Communications Milwaukee, but are the sole comments of the host and guest of this particular show.
The views and opinions expressed in this program do not reflect those of Wisconsin Voices, but are those of the host and guests of this particular show, and their appearance on the program does not imply any endorsements or representation by Wisconsin Voices. Thank you for listening to Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices.
Be a voice.
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 Visit WisconsinVoices.org. Visit WisconsinVoices.org.
Visit WisconsinVoices.org
And learn more on how to be a voice with Wisconsin Voice.